it's difficult to really help you to understand what is all in the exam prep masterclass, but maybe I can give it a go and maybe you can get an idea. All right. So there are 4 hours, 4 1-hour lessons in this masterclass. It deals with a lot of comprehension and some grammar too. Comprehension to try and help your child deal with the comprehension part of the exam, even when they don't understand all the words. So there's a workbook and memorandum. And the basis for understanding and how to answer questions in comprehension is how to, what does the question ask? And of course, if you don't know what the question words mean, like, you'd be surprised how many kids don't understand the question words. How will you answer a question if you don't know what they're asking? So there's a lot of questions. Like, let's take, for instance, waarmeer. Now, a lot of question words in Afrikaans start with the word waar, but they don't all mean where. Like, for instance, this one has nothing to do with where. It means with what. With what? So I have a little story, very, very brief story with a picture of somebody, a whole little happening. I'm not going to describe it now. But then it says, waarmee het sy bodymat skoon gemaak. And then it shows with what. And so I take them through question words one by one and help them understand it. Waarin is another one. So waarin has got nothing to do with waar. It means in what? In some kind of space or in container. Waarin was die water? Die water was in 'n emmer. Another mistake kids often make is when I ask them, what does who mean in English? I would say 80% of kids say it means who in English. I mean, who in Afrikaans means who in English. It doesn't. It means how. You can just imagine if they answer a who question with a why answer, they're not going to get the mark. So I explain that. And another thing that they do wrong, like in grammar, is they see one verb in a sentence. Look at this sentence now, for instance. There's one verb in English, but it's past tense. So in Afrikaans, you have to have 2 verbs. You have to have a helping verb there. And we call it a hoofwerkwoord in Afrikaans. So that's an auxiliary verb in English, and you have to add het or you have to add sal, depending on some kind of helping verb to change it to Afrikaans. Okay, there you have now a first verb, verb 1, and a verb 2. So I explain that very, very carefully. When the comprehension comes up, oh boy, that's when they really make a mess. So I tell them, look for clues. Examine the title. Try and see, what does the title mean? If there are any pictures, you must be so grateful. Look at those pictures. Examine them. Subheadings. Look at them. Try and see what it's about. Because, why? Because it helps you tell your brain what's coming. You prepare your brain. And I also say to them, if you're not good at reading and understanding Afrikaans, don't read the text first. Read the questions first, because the questions will tell you what to look for. All right, so let's take a few examples of questions. Now I teach them how to be a language detective. Now they already know the question words, so you mark the question word. It's a wie question, which means it's a who, it's a person or a dog or a somebody, a breathing thing. So now, wie is die uitvinder? Probably they don't know what uitvinder is, right? But they know what uit, usually kids know what uit means out, and vind, could it be find? And when you have an ER at the end of a word, even in English, it's somebody who does something, like a teacher, doctor. So uitvinder, an outfinder, a finder out, somebody who finds something out. So a person who invents, but even if they didn't know that it means an inventor, just the out And the find, if they think about it, will probably give them a clue that it's somebody who finds something out. You see? Because English and Afrikaans are not that different. They might not know what beroep is, but they must look for it then in the text. And this is for 2 marks. So I must put 2 facts down. Here's another one. Noem 2 dinge. So 2 marks. Maybe they don't know what destijds is, but they won't know what tyd is. Tyd. So it's something to do with time. And they drive past chemists every day. Dis-Chem, Clicks, many other chemists. And they might remember that I've seen pharmacy and apteek under it. So they have to think. Right, and another one, het jy geweet? Did you know? So they must think, oh, I must either say yes or no. And if I didn't know, I must add 2 nis because it's negative. So I go through the questions. Then I also show in this program, I show how connected Afrikaans words are. Because they have to do advert analysis very often, and they come across words to do with buying and selling. But notice in Afrikaans how all these words to do with buying and selling are connected by the word koop, but in English, most of them are unconnected. And so I say to them, look, Afrikaans is such a cool language. Look at all the connections. You've got verkoop, which is sell, te koop, for sale, goedkoop is cheap, uitverkoping, okay, you'd lose the one O because of the suffix there, but uitverkoping, selling out, sale. What about this one? Inkopies, buying in, shopping. And last but not least, winskopie, a bargain. Just look at how the English words are different, but the Afrikaans words all have a thread connecting them together. Then after each little section, I have this slide, which says, jou beurt, your turn. And then I will go through some of the things that we've just taught and have questions. So right now you have to answer them, and the workbook is there to do that. And after that, I give the answers in the program, and the answers are also in the memorandum. So your child will benefit a lot from the exam prep masterclass.